friends. Welcome back to Second Star to the Left. I'm Michelle, and this is my daughter Billy.
Hello.
And here's where we'll share board game reviews, ramblings, and a few wrong turns along the scenic route. Hello?
I usually say hi, don't I?
No, I don't even know what to do.
Do I say hey? Do I say hi?
Say hi.
I don't even know who I am anymore.
If you've watched any of our videos over the last year or so, you probably know that one of my favorite types of games is tile placement, and specifically Polyomino games. I love Tetrising some pieces together. So what's my favorite kind of roll and write? I'm not telling for a few more videos, but one of my favorite kinds is those that deal with those Tetris shapes. You all know the shapes they are. You know them.
L!
Yeah, L and
T!
that little squiggle Z one.
The stretched out Z.
Yeah, you know the shapes.
Square!
Well, sure.
Line!
We're going to talk about some of those... We're going to talk about some of the roll and writes that use those shapes to create a clever puzzle for us to put together and figure out. That sounded weird because I ran out of breath and I just pushed it out.
I don't know what you were doing there.
We're going to talk about some of the roll and writes that use those shapes to create a clever puzzle for us to figure out. I just want to point out that we are not going to be able to cover every single roll and write. We've been getting a lot of suggestions and we hope that we can get most of them in. I also want to point out that I am not going to be covering print and play roll and writes because I don't do a lot of print and play. That doesn't mean that those aren't some really good games and that we haven't tried a few that are a lot of fun. It just means
lazy.
No, our printer's not great, and then I like...
Oh, yeah.
And so then I just don't bring those games out, so they just don't get as much play. But these do. So, on to the list. The first game I want to share is an honorable mention, and that's because we talked about it in our first video as one of our core 4 that we started with, and that's Cartographers, where you're using those little Tetris shapes
It's always for the royals.
to build out a map for the royals. If you want to learn a little bit more about this one, you can check out our first video in our Rolling into the New Year series, and I'll put the link down below. Woo! The rest of these that I want to share today are not in any kind of order. They are just a couple of those that use the Tetris shapes that we love, and we wanted to share them.
They're in the order of wherever you grabbed them off the shelf and then made a pile.
I did. They were in the order of this pile that you can't see. I'm going to start with one that we played later on in our roll and write collecting because people kept recommending it over and over, and we finally caved in and tried it, and guess what? It's a great game.
Who would have thought?
And that is Silver and Gold. And look at this. Look at this tiny little...
Silver and gold.
This is a quick, smaller roll and write where you are exploring an island for treasure and apparently palm trees by using Tetris shapes. It's a common theme this week. But you're going to have a market full of cards that you can choose from, 2 cards in front of you to fill out, and then you're going to be flipping over expedition cards that are those Tetris shapes that you know and love. And when you fill in the card in front of you with those Tetris shapes, you get to collect points. The cards in front of you also have colors and numbers so that at the end it is a game of set collection. If you complete all of the squares on that island that you're exploring, that moves over into your score pile and you get to get another card from the market. So you're going to be trying to collect cards of the same color, trying to get more palm trees than the other person quicker. You're going to be trying to get more coins. Basically, you're just trying to score more points by exploring more islands.
The cover has a lot of layers. Because it's a coin, but it's also the moon. But it also has an X on it like a treasure map. But it also kind of looks like a sand dollar.
And all of that.
Look at it. No, but that's like a sand dollar.
No, it is. It's a very cool cover. This is a good one to play if you just want to grab something quick. And it's really easy to explain to people. So you can get it on the table and teach it and have people playing pretty quickly.
Yes.
The next one is an adaptation of a game that we oddly don't own, given that we play mostly at 2-player and that we love Polyomino games. And that's Patchwork Doodle. We don't own a copy of Patchwork of any kind.
I thought we ordered the Halloween one finally.
I decided not to because BGA had the Halloween implementation, so I could play it there. And Patchwork has a lot of pieces, which I'm going to say is one of the reasons that I like this version.
Yeah, this one's pretty fun.
In this version, instead of those tiles spread out around the board, you have cards. You have 8 cards with polyomino shapes spread around in a circle. The thing that this version doesn't have is that timer and buttons mechanism where you're spending buttons to pick up the cards and you have a limited supply of time while you're making a quilt. In this one, you have a limited supply of cards. So you're going to play 3 rounds where you use 6 of the 8 cards. You get a few special powers to help you out, and you're just drawing those Tetris shapes onto a paper. The only thing that I did not like about this game is that it came with colored pencils that were, if you're going to make a roll and write, please give me good markers or good pencils or whatever it is. Billy and I wound up using regular pencils and drawing patterns onto our sheets to...
Maybe it was like just we got some bad pencils and they're normally good. We don't know.
It could be. I think I'd like to play this game with like colored markers so you could make little patterns. I think in the directions at one point it actually says you can draw colored patterns onto your blocks if your opponents are taking too long to decide. That didn't really happen when we were playing. This is probably the only copy of Patchwork that I will ever purchase because it's nice and it's compact.
Unless they come out with Halloween Doodle. I'm not sure how that would even work because you draw it yourself.
You draw your own. But... I don't think they're going to because you would have to draw pumpkins. We could just play Halloween Doodle. Patchwork plays so well on Board Game Arena that I don't feel the need to own our own copy. So for me, this one's going to be enough. And it was really quick and fun, and I've taught it to a couple of people now, and it hit every time we try it. So the next one is another adaptation that we don't own the main game of. We should probably do a video about adaptations.
Ding! Nailed it.
This one is Isle of Cats Explore and Draw. This is the one time I ever showed restraint on a Kickstarter.
Yeah, you were so close to going all in on everything.
I had everything in the cart. Base game, all the expansions, everything. And then I realized that we probably didn't need all of that, and that my sister owns most of that, so we can play it whenever we want to. And then I really like roll and writes, so we wound up getting this, and this version is enough for me. I don't need the big version. I can appreciate it, and I like to play it, but this one's good. In this one, you're creating a grid of 12 cards of cats and objectives, and then you're filling in the ship with those cats in the same way that you do in the original game, connecting colors and working your way around through different sections of the boat to rescue these cats, and scoring points for largest groups of certain colors and for the objective cards that you pull out. The markers in this game are very good. And you get all the colors so you can draw the cats exactly as you would have put the tiles down. So you have purple cats and orange cats and green cats. This one ticks all the boxes for me that the original would. And it plays really quick and the setup is really quick. And there's very little to clean up. When you're done, you kind of have a discard pile of cards and the pad and your markers. We'll talk about this one a little more in a later video. Spoilers. If you've watched any of our videos, especially during Spooky Month, then you know what's coming. And that is Castle Party, which is not only one of our favorite roll and writes, it's just one of our favorite games.
It really is, definitely. Like, top 10, probably.
Yeah, I think next to Unmatched, we probably played the most of this, I think. I will have to check our stats. We're going to do a whole...
In person, not counting
in person.
Because you did like 5 bajillion games of Can't Stop.
It was just under 5 bajillion. I couldn't stop. Castle Party is a game where the Pumpkin King is having a party and we're trying to get as many guests as we can get into the royal party hall. I don't know what they call it.
It's a castle.
It's a Oh, yeah.
The word is castle.
Yeah,
Where's the party happening?
It's a castle party.
Castle.
You're right. On each turn, you flip over a card that has one of those Tetris shapes in it, but in your hand, you have little square cards. So what happens is you build out the Tetris shape before it's drawn. And the active player gets to kind of decide which way that shape is oriented. Unlike other Tetris-y roll and writes, you cannot rotate the shape once it comes up. It has to be drawn the way that it is facing on the table. So what I draw on my castle will not be the same as what Billy draws on her castle. You can also use this to your own benefit if you know someone can't draw that shape in that direction on their sheet. There are 3 sets of objectives that you have to meet, including getting the most monsters to watch the fireworks, or having a conga line, or having the most monsters surround the Pumpkin King. And they happen as a timer mechanism throughout the game. And when you hit the 3rd one, then the game is over and you add up your points. And you don't get any points for people that had to wait out on the drawbridge. And if people are in the moat, you're going to lose a few points. This is one of our all-time favorite games and definitely one of our favorite roll and writes. It'll be interesting to see where this lands on your top 5 list.
I'm betting pretty high.
Pretty high. Well, we are going to have very different lists.
I'm betting. You play things that look like spreadsheets.
I love the things that look like spreadsheets. That's another video. When I described this video, I said that we liked the roll and writes that were Tetris without the tiles. But in this one, it's kind of Tetris with the tiles.
I love this game.
Lantern dice are what we call the Epcot roll and write. I'm not sure why, but we just think
the festival they do every night with the fireworks over the big lake.
In Lanterns dice, it's a lantern festival, and you're coloring in these beautiful lanterns on your score sheet. And each little block on your score sheet is made up of 2 triangles of different colors. When you roll the dice, they go into a little tray. There's 4 of them, and then you turn the tray so that the dice facing you are the ones you get to use, and the dice facing your opponent are the ones that they get to use. So you can do both things, choose a die that benefits you, but also keep
be
any
mean.
Yeah, or also be mean. It's beautiful though, but you can be mean. And then once you've completed these shapes on your sheet, you get to take the top tile of that shape and place it on your sheet, the little Tetris tile. The quicker you get to those, the more points that you score, because the ones on the top are worth more points than the ones at the bottom of the pile. So if I draw the little U shape first, I'm going to get more points than Billy is. If she draws the little Z shape first, she's going to get more points than me. It is really pretty. It's pretty quick to learn. We've taught it to a lot of people, and it's been a pretty quick teach. I really, really like this one. And again, we've never played Lanterns.
I forgot there was a Lanterns.
We've never played Lanterns. We've only ever played Lanterns.
I forgot this was an adaptation. I thought this was just...
A lot of ours are. But in this one, we actually have Tetris tiles. So I guess it just kind of breaks our rule for this video, but it's pretty close. The last one we want to talk about today is Copenhagen, which is another adaptation. And it's one that we played the original on Board Game Arena. And then I thought, hey, maybe we would like to have that game. I really enjoyed it. You're building out a series of buildings and trying to line up the windows and colors and things like that. I really enjoyed it. And then I looked it up, and guess what? There's a roll and write version.
It's really fun.
It is really
I might
fun.
like it better.
I'm not sure because I've never played the in-person
Yeah, only on BGA.
original game. I've only played it on Board Game Arena, and it was a lot of fun. But this one works just as well, and it's a really nice puzzle, and it's a really nice race. And basically, you're just rolling the colored dice and checking off the available shapes. The thing is, for the advanced shapes, once I use it and cross it off, it's no longer available to Billy. So not all shapes are available all the way through the game. Just like in the original version where you would have taken the tile and that wouldn't have been available. In this way, you just cross it off on the sheet. You're still trying to connect rows of windows or columns of windows so that you can build these houses. But it's just a little quicker and a little simpler and, a little more portable. I really, really enjoy this one. This one gives me the feel of actual Tetris.
A little bit, yeah, because you're building up from the bottom.
Right, I can hear the music, right? Dun, 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 dun. I can hear the Tetris music as I'm playing this one. This one plays pretty quickly. In fact, almost all the games we mentioned today play in about 20 to 40 minutes, which is just perfect if you just want to roll some dice or flip some cards
Yeah.
after dinner or at lunchtime really quick. I love these to bring out. I would play a whole night of just roll and writes, but that's pretty obvious since we're doing a whole month of them. Again, we are trying to find ways.
Or if you'd like to keep watching
No,
until...
not yet. Again, we're trying to find ways to bring as many of these roll and writes into videos as we can. At the end, we will rank them, and we will each give you our top 10, and then we'll probably put the rest of the list on Patreon. If you are able or if you want to, all the information for joining our Patreon will be down below. We will also be chatting about Roll and Rights in the Discord, and all the information to join us to talk about Roll and Rights or any other
We have a Discord?
We do have a Discord, and it is a great
Whoa.
place that we share with 3 other channels with Lobby of Hobbies, 2 Sheep, 1 Wheat, and M is for Meeple. So hop in there and talk about all things board games or other things.
All the cool kids are doing it.
All the cool kids are doing it. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see,
Or if you'd like to keep watching until we get one right.
then please like, subscribe, and share. As always, open tables, open minds, and play yourselves.
Bye! I said the right thing this time.
Good job.
You know what? Don't put it in the video.
It's not great.
The heck with that game.
We're not gonna click.
They'll never know. They'll never know what game it was.
The last one we want to talk about today is Copenhagen, which is...
So it's Copenhagen.
Is it? Doesn't have dots.
Is it Hagen?
It doesn't have dots.
Is Hagen or Hagen?
I'm going with Copenhagen
Okay.
because it doesn't have
That sounds
it
right.
doesn't have the dots.
That sounds right.
Okay. Do not get depepped.
Then you better start going.
I'm Peppy, you're Peppy, he's Peppy, he's Peppy. Wouldn't you like to be Peppy to be Peppy? You know what that is though, right?
Really?
I'm a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper, he's a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Dr. Pepper, drink Dr. Pepper.
What?
Really?
What?
Are you just...
I'm not messing with you. This was a thing?
That's a commercial.
Oh.
It was written by Chuck Berry.
I drink Dr. Pepper and I'm proud. I'm
Part of an original crowd.
And if you look around these days, there seems to be a Dr.
Dr. Pepper craze. I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper.
What does that even mean?
It means I was way cool.
No,